Warranty Wire.
Customer trust.
AI.
Every day in the warranty world.
Welcome back to another episode of The Warranty Wire, the place for real talk about warranty in the age of automation, AI, and elevated expectations. So in past episodes, we've talked a lot around the work automation and the role AI has to play in this. And today we want to bring you a very special episode of The Warranty Wire, and we want to discuss the ultimate automation play with workflows. So you may have seen our recent posts about our very own workflow application, Jurni. So today we want to take a deeper dive into workflows and uncover how they can help you and your organization, not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, but today. So Becca and I are very excited to be here today to walk you through that. Welcome, Becca.
Thank you, Matt. So excited. This has been such a long time coming. A lot of teasers about what we're building behind the scenes, and now it's time to finally see it in action and talk about the business impacts that it's having on real life clients today. And let me tell you, it's big. So I know there's a lot of talk, a lot of solutions out there in the space about tools to automate your life and your business processes, but let's break it down to how it actually works. So what we're going to walk you through today are 3 different workflows that have provided huge impact on the warranty space and how our clients have applied them to use different legacy systems to route that information back into their processes and streamline what used to be a manual, painful process. So if we talk about what a workflow is, everyone's familiar with one. We could talk about every morning when you make your coffee, you go through these certain steps of just how you like it. But what happens when a curveball gets thrown and someone in your family decides to go dairy-free? Now you have this branch of a new workflow of a different route that needs to be taken if it's a certain person. So what our system Jurni does is it allows business users to build these workflows and processes in a software system to take you through the right branch depending on different terms. And then once that workflow is complete, it pushes the data back to the right place it needs to be in order to make your team efficient and your processes run smoothly.
Yeah, and I, for one, absolutely cannot wait, to walk it through with the listeners today. As you say, we've been working on this for so long now, and for us, it's really exciting to be able to really showcase it, not just talk about the applications, but to actually showcase it today. I do want to touch a little bit around, we've kind of rolled it back a little bit in terms of what a workflow is, but let's talk a little bit around how do workflows actually help. So we're in the warranty industry. That's the basis of this podcast. So let's use the warranty industry as an example. So I think we can easily identify where workflows come into play just by probably looking at a lot of the pain points that I would say 90% of the people that are listening to this podcast are going to have experienced. So claims that are needing approval that get stuck, customers having to chase for updates, or we've all been there, a specific person takes a vacation and then the work slows down or even grinds to a halt. Or even where we all had it where teams are relying on memory rather than a particular process. So I think all of these are examples that everybody can relate to. And they're also pain points that I think, rarely get addressed with a workflow. It typically becomes that case of that's the way it's always been. That's the way we've always done it. So at a very basic level, workflow can help to just map out that process, just to visualize it. Now that could initially be on just a Word document. It could be a visual representation of what should happen at each stage. Now, what that does is that gives everybody a very clear expectation on stage gates, what their role is, and where they can really make that process happen. But now what we want to be able to talk to you more about is how to actually build a functioning workflow, one that you can put into practice, one that solves a lot of those pain points. And inbuilt with that, you have automation, decision-making, and then all integrations, all as standard. So Becca, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Can you maybe kind of talk us through some of those real life applications of the Jurni workflow and the impacts that they've had?
Absolutely. Let's do it. All right. Drum roll, please. Here we are looking at our Jurni application. So again, this is a workflow builder and application platform that Axiom Connected has built in-house. This enables you to streamline all of your processes. So what we're looking at here, the first example we're going to walk through is an example of customizing a quote in order to receive rates. So every warranty administrator has been faced with this problem where they want to get creative, smarter about how they rate. If you're traditionally in vehicle, you have your VIN, your year, make, model, the state that the customer lives in. But sometimes we want to get more refined, and the times are changing. We have all this data available to us about specific vehicles, our customer data, and we want to leverage that to be smarter rating and warranty platform. But you can't do that if the system is a box that you can't manipulate. With Jurni, the options are very flexible here. So what we're looking at here is the ability to build your own quoting flow and allow to walk a customer, a dealer, a seller through that flow and then receive a rate. So we have several different steps here in our very easy drag and drop workflow designer. We have nodes that will let you choose what kind of step or stage that you want to take the customer through. And the example here, we have selecting an administrator, selecting a seller, customer information, where they live, and then this asset's talking about vehicle. For this scenario, we showed how you can easily add a random question like vehicle color and then retrieve a rate specific to that. So as a business user, I can very easily go in and build these questions and workflow in order to ask whatever information I need. And then I'm able to call that rating system to get a live rate and push it back to the system where it belongs. So let's look at what this can look like to the end consumer. I'm selecting my seller, my administrator. I have my customer information, their address, vehicle information, color of the vehicle, and now I have returned rates. So I have 3 different plans. I can select that deductible and now have that rate presentation, and it's a customized flow that I was able to build in a matter of minutes, as opposed to the old way, introducing a new asset type or a new rating element. We've seen with clients take up to 4 months of development from a dev team can now be done in about 2 business days by your business user. So Jurni is this beautiful gateway product to allow you to have full control over your process, introduce new rating elements here without having to go through the manual development lifecycle.
Wow. So gone are the days of hard coding and months of dev cycles.
That's right. Huge impact here. If we look at the next one, we talk about updates that are made to rates on the sales support side. So a lot of our sales support teams are receiving commission, markup, rate requests from your agents or dealers, and these things happen all the time. So the current process, or the old way, is that an agent's going to reach out to an administrator sales support. They're going to say, I want to change my markup from A to B. That sales rep is now going to have to get approvals from all the right people, make sure they document those approvals because we're talking about money here, so it's very important. Then find the rate card that is specific to that agent and their sellers, make that update, get approval again, send back to the agent, and then send to the data team to update in the system. That is a lot of steps, and that's a lot of people that it has to go through. And tracking all those requests every single day is a huge process to manage, and a lot of things can slip through the cracks, and it's manual. It takes a while. So for our client example here, we have a workflow and Jurni built specific to managing those rate change requests. And you'll see the different steps here of configuring an email. So easily with this node, you can say, this is the email that I want to go through. Here's the subject. Here's what it needs to say, and allow that configuration of the email to be done in a few minutes. Determine who that needs to go to. Once they submit that approval, then it will pull the rate card from the system. So through an API, you can pull what exactly is on file, present it in this Jurni application. You then make the requested rate change, resubmit for approval, and you're no longer saving the Excel, opening it to your Outlook, drafting certain emails to certain people, triggering it. Jurni does all of that for you. So as soon as it has what that final Excel rate update is, then it's going to send it to the right people. It's going to track their approval. And once it receives the approval, then it's going to move to the next phase automatically. So once that's done, if approved, it's then going to send back to that agent and then the data setup team. So again, a manual process that used to take about 4 hours of review and tracking approvals and manually making changes is now streamlined down to 5 minutes.
And I think that tackles a lot of what we were talking about before in terms of, bottlenecks. If somebody is off, it just grinds to a halt, lack of communication. So this really does encompass a lot of those issues that we encounter every day within business, in terms of there's multiple different players at play here and there's different steps involved in this.
Exactly. A lot of these processes are complex, and tracking who says what and who approved what, who checked what box, it's time consuming. So being able to have a high level look and that transparency of where each workflow is here with this program is a total game changer for administrators. The last one we're going to look at here is something that every administrator has near and dear to their heart, and that is claims and first notice of loss. So this is a huge thing in the space. A lot of administrators and the software that is out there, again, gives you a box of here it is, use it if you want to use it, and it's very set in stone. And every administrator and every product is built differently, and you want to have the most relevant customer experience for your servicers and your contract holders when you are going through a claim. So if I'm submitting a claim and it doesn't feel like you even know the product that I'm trying to submit a claim, I'm going to lose trust in the process. So you want each flow to be specific to me as a customer, specific to the product that I am submitting a claim on, and it needs to feel like it knows me and knows my product and that it's smart. And you can't do that unless you have the ability to configure and build it to your use case, your audience, and your product. So your notice of loss workflow that's presented to your contract holder is going to read differently than what a servicer is going to enter. A servicer is in a whole different ballgame. They are mechanics. They live in that world. They know what went wrong. If you ask a customer the complaint cause and correction, they don't know the answer to that. If you ask a customer to upload a video of their problem on a tire and wheel or a gap claim, they're just submitting documentation. So it needs to be specific to their product and their experience. And with Jurni, you're able to do that. So if we look at this example here that a client has used, we have a subscription maintenance notice of loss. Again, we're going to go through these different pages and steps, verifying the customer and the asset that they have. And using APIs, you can validate that customer's coverage based on their last name and VIN. So again, you get to create that customized, tailored experience. You can create endless amount of branches here. So depending on what kind of data you get back about the customer, it can route to a different flow within that same workflow. And then the biggest piece here that I want to touch on is how it gets submitted after the fact. So any tool, there's so many tools out there that you could build any work, any form to gather information from a customer or servicer about a claim, but you're only as good as that tool if it's just sitting on an island and it's not talking to anything else. So what you see here with this HTTP node is that it's pushing the data, it's posting it to an API, and that can push to any of your legacy systems where you manage warranties today so that you're able to ingest that information automatically. Let's see what this looks like in action. So we're going to capture that customer's last name and VIN. We're going to pull that information based on the API call. We already know their asset and their address, service center information. And now that we have verified their coverage, let's do a maintenance claim redemption. So based on the product that they have, these are the options that they could be redeeming for. And with that, they're able to submit that information. And again, it will go directly into the system. So if we talk about business impact, with our client who implemented this Jurni workflow for claims, they reduced their intake time from 9 minutes per claim to 3 minutes per claim. So a huge, huge business impact there that they were able to see and reap the rewards of being able to automate this information, provide a better customer experience, and then it passes directly into the system that they need it in.
Wow. For me, it doesn't matter how many times I kind of see this, the endless opportunities still come to mind in terms of how Jurni can help, because, we've probably all been there where there is, as you mentioned, Becca, the ability to create an intake form. But actually, what do you do with that intake form? Well, there's no point in just taking that and just blind copying that into your CRM, into your claims management system. That's where human error comes into play. So definitely seeing it all synthesized here. Probably a few honorable mentions as well, and some of the other integral parts that we've built into Jurni is, as you were going through there, Becca, is the ability to actually preview that workflow, as you've shown there. So preview that workflow as the user would see it. So, as you're going through it as a user, it allows you to quickly iterate through that journey. So you may see that's slightly out of place, that doesn't look right, that needs some help text. That preview ability helps you to be able to actually visualize from the user's perspective. Now, one of our latest deployments as well is around custom objects. So what this does, it allows individual Jurni tenants to be able to define their own data structures and to be able to also persist data within the platform. So it's becoming a lot more customizable when it comes to different tenants and different versions of Jurni. Now, one of the final things, and one of probably the most important things, is that Jurni is also built with full version control. So permissions, security for access control, and also those easy external integrations are done all without needing code. So I guess they are just a few of the honorable mentions as well, in addition to the workflow designer that Becca's just shown. So for us, we are super, super excited to have this live and actually to see the tangible benefits, not just the potential benefits, but the tangible benefits that we're seeing from our clients in actually creating their own workflows, deploying them, and seeing the benefits immediately. We're not talking over kind of 12 months return on investment, we're talking immediate.
Yeah, it's crazy how quickly you're able to configure and deploy this. For an average business user, it's a pretty small learning curve of being able to get up and use it. And with some of the features that we have releasing later this year, it's going to get even easier, where you can just enter your workflow in plain text language, and it will build all the nodes and steps for you. So more on that coming soon.
So much more to come, and I for one cannot wait to see it in action. So I guess thank you everybody for tuning to a very special episode of the Warranty Wire. Now, for you, those of you that would like a few more tidbits related to workflow, then you can check out our series of YouTube shorts, where our very own Becca has kind of given you some shorts around Jurni, workflows, and a little bit extra. And then we also have some LinkedIn blogs about our very own workflow application. So please reach out to any of us to find out how Jurni can change your business process in days, because we really would love to hear from you. Thank you for listening, everybody.
Thank you.
Warranty Wire.
Customer trust.
AI.
Every day in the warranty world.